Installing a three-way switch in your home can seem tricky. There are a number of wires you need to keep track of, and depending on how the system was installed in the first place, can be identified or colored in lots of different ways. Hopefully this tutorial will give you a good idea about how the system is supposed to work and a couple of tips and tricks to help get your switch wired correctly. As always, please understand the dangers of electricity. Turn off any power and make yourself safe before working on any electrical circuitry. In a three-way switching system, there are three components: power wire, traveler wires, load wires, or switch legs. For this exercise, we are going to assume two non-dimming switches are on both sides of a room. Each switch will have three screws, typically one black and two gold. The black screws will be for the power wire on one switch and the load wire on the other switch. The gold screws will be used for the traveler wires. The key two pieces to understand are: 1. The neutral or white wire does not need to make contact with the switches. It can go directly from the power to the light, or it can go into each switch box and then into the light by way of wire nuts in the switch boxes. Either way, the neutral does not need to be switched. And 2, each three-way system power needs to come out into the system on one side. The first switch and the load wires to the light need to come out of the system from the second switch. Between the two switches will be the traveler wires. The challenge is figuring out which wire is which. If you are replacing a three-way switch, it can be as easy as labeling each wire carefully when taking out the old switch. Be sure to take note which wires were landed on the black screw. This is not always the same color on all switches, but there will be two screws of one color and one screw of another color. The wire landed on the black screw will be either the power wire or the load wire. Depending which of the two switches you are working on, put these back on the black screws of the new switches and the system will work. It does not matter which way the traveler wires get landed on the new switches. If you are installing a new three-way system, the simplest way to run the wires is to bring power into the first switch box with a 12-2 Romex, black, white, ground load. Wires from the second switch box to the light with a 12-2 Romex, black, white, ground. And traveler wires between the switches with a 12-3 Romex, black, red, white, ground. In this configuration, the neutral or white wires get wire nutted together in the both switch boxes. The ground wire gets nutted together and landed on the ground screw of each switch. The black wires of each 12-2 gets landed on the black screw terminals of the switches. The black and red wires of the 12-3 Romex get landed on the gold screw terminals of the switches. It does not matter which way they get landed. There are lots of ways to accomplish this system, but if you understand the basic pathway for the electrons from the power source to the light, you can run many different sets of wires or colors to accomplish the task. Please consult a local electrician or refer to an electrical code source to find out what wiring methods are considered safe. Here's how the three-way switches work. As you can see, the switches only serve to complete the electrical circuit. Imagine the black line between the black and gold screws in the switch you see in your wall. In one position, the complete circuit is established for the electrons to flow from the power source all the way to the light and ultimately back to the power source on the neutral. The electrons are always trying to get back to their source. If you flip either one of the switches, the complete circuit is broken and the electrons cannot move back to the source through the light. Once the second switch changes position or the first switch is flipped back into its original position, the electrons will once again be able to move through the light and back to the source. In this example, the neutral wire never goes through the switch boxes. This will work just as well as running the neutral through the switch boxes. Please be safe and consult a local electrician if you have questions. Hopefully this video helped to make your repairs an easy fix.